I felt I felt compelled to come on this morning and do a live stream. Excuse me, because I think my tribe, a lot of members are a little bit discouraged right now, and I want to put what's happening into perspective. Excuse me, and I think we need to merely look back into the past and say, has this ever happened again and before? And yes, it has. And again, put it into perspective. We are in the midst of what I believe is the biggest change in the world. I look back in my lifetime. In when I was a young boy, Dwight D. Eisenhower developed the highway system. He decided after World War II, we needed to be able to move our military across the United States if we should to protect either of our shores of the Pacific or the Atlantic. And we started the highway system. And a lot of people said that it was a waste of money. We don't need that. I remember my grandfather in Cincinnati, Ohio, saying, there is no reason for that. I don't need to go to Cleveland, Ohio, or Columbus, or New York City, or Los Angeles. I'm happy here with the trolley cars. That's right. We had an electric trolley car run by Coleraine Avenue. And that gave spawn to the Holiday Inn, to McDonald's, to anything and everything you want to think about in our world today. In the United States, it spurred on the economy. It gave the birth to Exxon Mobil and the gasoline companies. It was the start of a major change in our world. The next big change that I remember started in 1985. It was called the internet. And around 2000, the world came crashing down as the internet bubble burst because of the number of companies that were spawned that were non-profitable. Kind of reminds me of a word called SPACs that happened in the advent of 2022, I guess it was. And then another element after 1985 and the internet was in 2006, we were introduced to the cloud. And Amazon Web Services was the big starter of that, saying we had all this data processing available that we have to have for the rush for Christmas from December through February. We'll sell it real cheap, and we'll process your data, and you don't need to keep it on your hard drive anymore. And with the birth of the cloud, well, that then gave the birth to what we're experiencing starting in November of 2022, and that was AI. They had gathered all this data since 2006, and they had learned how to process it. They weren't processing it well. They could do it for their own companies, and I'm speaking of big tech here. But then with Jensen's GPUs, we discovered we can do it for everybody. We can process everybody's data. We can give everybody access to all the knowledge in the world, and we can change the world. And the market just rejoiced over it and overdid it. And that's what we're dealing with this week. An overdone market. And a lot of people are asking the question that I ask in my thumbnail: is it going to be another 26 years before we recover? I don't think so. I think it might be 6 months at the most. I see a market that is preparing for lower interest rates, preparing for hopefully a more peaceful world in front of us. Certainly, we're being inspired towards peace from the Olympics that are going on. And so I think we're seeing a market reaction, and I think we're experiencing a correction. We have Nvidia down to $105, down 3.5% today. Amazon's off today, down to 184. It's off 8%. ASML is down 6%. And Intel is down 22% today after being down 7% yesterday. So it's got about a 30% cut on it. And again, I go back to, if we are going to have any security in our nation, we need to manufacture semiconductors here. We can't afford to have them all made in Korea and Taiwan. So who's going to do that for us? I think the only company that has bought a machine to make wafers from ASML is Intel. So Intel, yeah, is off 30% in the last 2 days, but that is a buying opportunity if the United States is going to stay a superpower in the top two. If they're going to stay in the top two, then Intel is an essential, and then ASM is an essential. Then Nvidia is an essential. As I read the comments that I see on my videos and say, some people say Nvidia is just going to dissolve. The competition is going to take them over. If there is, I think back to Standard Oil, and this happened. I was shocked as to when it happened. It was in, I believe, the 20s, when the government came in and said Standard Oil is too big. It controls too much of the gasoline, and they forced them to dissolve it into multiple companies, and that's what gives us now Exxon Mobil and the competition in the gas markets. They did the same thing to Bell South, or to the Bell systems. If there is a company right now that owns a market, it is Nvidia. And will it continue and make their own GPUs? They make their own GPU, replace the P100 that Intel has currently, but Intel is working already on its replacements. They have the engineering. If there is a company that could potentially experience a breakup, I believe it's Nvidia. I think I said Intel. It's Nvidia. So you need to keep it in your portfolio. If you've got some cash on the sidelines, you need to be buying it in its current. Today it's 105, somewhere under $100 a share. This is a buying opportunity. How quick will it turn around? It's only my opinion, but I think it's pretty much given that we're going to have lower interest rates. That will stimulate, I believe, the real estate market. Young people will be able to buy homes maybe again. And this is so critical. This is so critical. I bought a house. I bought a house back in, God, right the year after I graduated from college. But the house I live in now, I bought for $325,000 in I believe it was 89. It's now worth close to $1 million. If I were a renter and I was renting this house that I'm living in now as a retiree, I would be paying somewhere in the neighborhood of $7,500 a month. As a retiree, that would cripple me. If I had $7,500, as if every retiree were not living in their own house, our economy would crash. So we have to get these young people into the real estate market and get them out of rental just so they can retire. And no one is talking about this. And if Jerome doesn't get those interest rates down so that young people can get into homes and start building equity in homes, so as they have children, they can get a bigger home and a bigger home. And so this $350 home, $350,000 home that I bought in the late 80s is now worth $1 million. Well, that's a tremendous growth asset that I also raised my family in, and it's grown as a part of my estate. So we have to do that. Getting back to the stock market today, this is a buying opportunity. I wish I had more cash on the sideline. This morning, I would be loading up. I made a mistake in that I dumped $100,000 into ASML several weeks ago. I'm down about 6% on it, but that's going to turn around. This is the company that makes the machines, that makes the wafers, that makes semiconductors, that makes AI possible. This is the highway system that is being built. This is the concrete being poured. This is the roads, the dirt being turned over. That's where we are right now. The highway system is being built. The Holiday Inns will appear. The McDonald's will appear. The whole world will change as we look back on what is it? August the 2nd, 2024, and that people will say, God, I wish I had known what I know today, that this is such a buying opportunity, that Intel, that Nvidia went under $100. Can you imagine that? That's what they're going to be looking back in the future and saying. So if you hold these stocks, if you hold any of the big seven, the magnificent seven, Amazon down 6% today. Are you kidding me? 800 and I think it's no, that's Amazon, $184, down 8% today. This is the company you will buy everything from. This is the company that will have an avatar that will walk you through and tell you what is the best product out there for you. If you don't do anything else this weekend, go find the interview between Jensen Huang and Mark Zuckerberg. And listen to that, and listen to what Mark tells you he's going to turn Meta into. And then if you have access to the earnings call, go listen to Mark's explanation of the future of Meta. And I did a video that said, what's about to happen is bigger than the two of them. These two guys have a vision. They know what's going to happen, and you need to buy into it. You need, if it isn't for you, do it for your grandkids. This is an opportunity. This is not the end of the world. This is the beginning of the world, and this is your opportunity. I'm here, I hope, to help bring some peace into your life this weekend. I want you to enjoy this weekend. I want you to enjoy the track and field on the Olympics, because this is a time of celebration. This is a time when hopefully the world comes together for the betterment. I mean, just look what happened yesterday with the release of the hostages in Russia. And understand that was a two-sided trade. It was also a release of hostages from the United States, from Germany. Maybe that's a sign of peace. Maybe this is the most important weekend of our future. Maybe this is the most important weekend of your future. So calm down. Understand, this market has always gone in one direction. Now, it isn't a straight line up. This is a dip down. If you've got cash, I'm not saying today, I'm not saying next week, but this is an opportunity to invest in your future, the world's future, and possibly your grandchildren's future. Okay, I've got to make a video. I've got a staff meeting, and then I've got my stock talk this afternoon where the tribe comes together. So I've got to go, but I just felt compelled. I had to share my thoughts with you this morning.